Hello everyone, I am FPL Rondo and welcome back to the channel. So game week 5 is very close to concluding. I am recording this before the Nottingham Forest versus Burnley fixture later on this evening. But yeah, this week nonetheless has been an absolutely tragic week. I don't think anyone has scored more than 40 points, it feels. It's just been the same week for the majority. About 90% have been in the exact same boat. It's just one of them weeks. I am going to go over my score this week in this video, and then I'm going to also cover the transfers, which I have already made. I know it's a bit knee-jerk and it is a bit reactionary, but I just wanted to get in there before the price changes. I am aware there is Champions League football and European games midweek, so that is something to keep in mind. But I have still done the transfers anyway, and I'll go over all that in this video, so stay tuned. So where to start here? 35 points all in all this week with only 10 left to play. Obviously, if you haven't heard the news already, Matt Turner has recently had a child as well within the last few days. So Onana very well may be coming in to replace him as my also sub, which would leave me on 37 for the week. That is not great at all, but it is what it is. And obviously, congratulations to Matt Turner, but I'll just have to accept it this week. It's not often that you see your players missing out on a game because they've just had a child. It is what it is. But yeah, looking across the board, there were only a few standouts. Saliba obviously keeping that clean sheet against Everton. Saka getting an assist in the only goal of that same fixture. Great for me, but obviously wish he could have just done a little bit more in the end. Erling Haaland was the best captaincy option for me out of my starting players. Got that goal, doubled up to 12. Very nice, but again, it could have just been more. He missed a few assists in that game as well, apparently. I didn't get to watch that one. Udogie conceding against Sheffield United. You just can't write this, can you? You're playing Tottenham Hotspur against Sheffield United and they struggle to score a goal. Everyone was expecting it to be about 3 or 4-0 to Spurs, and then Sheffield United come up and end up scoring the first goal of the game. It was just typical FPL. Chilwell was just such a disappointment once again. Doesn't play. I believe he did pick up a knock just before the game started or in the evening before. Didn't end up playing the start. Came on for about 10 minutes towards the end and then picked up a yellow card. Again, just like Udogie, it is typical FPL. I think it's just one of those weeks, really, where the majority of the big popular players within the template of FPL, just none of them decide to perform all in the same week. You get a few of those throughout the season, and this is just one of them, it feels. And hopefully next week we can come back a bit stronger. But seeing João Pedro on the bench with 7 points, oh, I did say in my team selection video at the start of the week that I wouldn't be too disheartened if João Pedro scored because I believed I had the strongest 11 on the pitch. And what does he do? He goes and outperforms every single one of them. So it's typical FPL there as well. And João Pedro just laughed right in my face there. Yeah, it's just been a very uneventful week where none of my players performed when I thought they had the great fixtures for it. It is just one of them, and I've just got to accept it and move on. My rank hasn't changed too much. Obviously, that could change with Turner. If he does have a great game, I might end up on a green arrow. But as it stands, I'm currently on a red arrow of about 200,000. Not the end of the world. It is what it is. It's just been a really strange week. It's just been a few of them on the bounce, it feels now for me. But going into game week 6, hopefully we can do a bit better. But let's get into the transfer picks now. Now, if you haven't seen already, I have actually made my transfers already. I did have 2 free transfers saved up for this week onwards, hoping to save them for whenever I needed them the most. After that week that's just passed, I have already had to make my transfers. I did this to avoid price rises and price falls. I do know that there is Champions League football and Europa League football in the midweek, and hopefully we can avoid injuries here. But I've sold all of my Chelsea assets because I just think I've gave them enough chance. They've had plenty of very nice fixtures to get the goals, get the returns, and it's just not happened. It's not clicked for Chelsea, and they are looking like a team in quite a lot of distress. So I've sold Jackson and I've brought in Alvarez of Manchester City. I just think Jackson, once again, was a real big underperformer in this fixture, and it was just not great to watch. His XG has been so good going into the season, the start of the season. His numbers were so good. He just wasn't getting the goals. but it's just something at Chelsea right now that just doesn't feel right. No one's getting the goals. There's no creativity. It's just such a flat game that they're playing. And when you can't score against a team like Bournemouth, there are some questions to be raised. And it's just with the amount of money they've pumped into that team, it's just not great. So, yeah, I've sold Jackson, brought in Alvarez. I just think he is the better performer currently. He is playing in that Manchester City team. And I do believe he is one of the more favoured players for Pep currently with Kevin De Bruyne out. So I do believe he is less rotation risk. So yeah, that's why I've brought him in, and I'm very happy to do so. Hopefully he can keep his hauls coming, which would be fantastic for me. I think now's the right time to bring him in. As for Chilwell, the other Chelsea asset that I did own, I have sold him. Again, he did pick up a knock before this game, so I can understand the reason he was benched for this fixture. But even going into this game, specifically, he was getting substituted at about 60 minutes prior to this anyway, and he wasn't getting attacking returns or clean sheets either, really. He was conceding in quite a lot of his games. So yeah, it just wasn't great, me and Chilwell, and I've just had to sell him on. It just got to a point where I was just not convinced with them one bit, and at times in FPL you just have to accept it, take your losses, and then make the transfer. Even though it hurts slightly to get rid of Chilwell at such an early stage, I am just a bit disappointed in Chelsea as a whole, and I think that's my reason for getting rid of both of them. I've brought in Botman of Newcastle for Chilwell, specifically in that defensive position. He's playing Sheffield United next, and Newcastle, I do believe, have a good run coming up. Obviously, again, there is Champions League for both of my new transfers to worry about, but hopefully we can avoid injuries going into their game week 6. But I think my team now is much better set up going forwards, and I'll get more into this in my team selection video later on in the week. But yeah, this is just going to be a short video because obviously it's been quite an uneventful week and there's not too much to talk about, and I am recording this before the Nottingham Forest game anyway, so I don't even have that to comment on either. So that'll do for today's video. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. I do know it's a bit shorter than normal, this video, but as you can see, it is very dark in here now. Yeah, the time of recording was a bit later due to my schedule today, and just the fact that it has been an uneventful week. Hopefully we can sort of come back next week a bit stronger, but yeah, I know a lot of us have been in the same boat, so if you did get a score similar to mine, we can all cry in the comments. If you got a better score, flex it in the comments as well. We want to see all of them. But thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.